magic in the air, wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find, spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizards, oh, 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 oh. Life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, oh, oh. That's the Wizard Show.
It's 9 o'clock on the dot, broadcasting live from Site B on a beautiful summer morning. Happy Thursday, happy end of July, happy beginning of RPG A Day, August, and mine and Steve's birthday. And this just fell in our laps straight from GenCon 2025 and the pages of D&D Beyond. We have brand new scapegoat, master of ceremonies, Dan Ayoub. And Dan Ayoub is presenting us with the new direction of Dungeons & Dragons 2025 after realizing how many mistakes they've made. They are announcing, as of yesterday, 20 hours ago, hey, we're changing. We're listening to you again. Well, that sounds amazing. I think it's time that there be an open dialogue. There's that word, open dialogue between us, the players, both present and past and future, and you, Wizards of the Coast. If only we hadn't heard this exact same promise after 2023. 2023, of course, Wizards of the Coast infamously dropped the OGL scandal at the beginning of 2023, then followed that up with the Pinkerton scandal, and then followed that up with multiple terminations of employees, and then followed it up with all of 2024, the 50th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons, where they proceeded to just poop all over the legacy of Gary Gygax and all the former creators with that horrible History of D&D book and the constant reissuing of the false narrative of how awful the D&D community was before Wizards of the Coast saved it with 5th edition, right? And then, of course, we had the Mackenzie Dioms and claiming she was the first canonical autistic player character, that she had somehow created the Deck of Many Things. Never mind that the Deck of Many Things dates all the way back to the original printing of the hobby. According to Mackenzie, she created it. And she's the first canonical autistic character. So even if you played an autistic character, nope, doesn't matter. And now she's doing the same thing with Ravenloft. Oh, and let's also not forget all the shitty things they did with the Dragonlance people and every other shitty thing they've done between yesterday and December of 2023 and pretty much everything after 2019, right? But that's okay, because new scapegoat, Dan Ayoub, I apologize if I'm getting your name wrong, Dan, has come to us from the hallowed halls of GenCon to lead this to us. So please join me. That's right, sneeze. Okay, it's not there. Don't you hate it when you want to sneeze? You know you have to sneeze and the sneeze. Oh, butterfly. Okay, anyways. All right, Dan, let's go. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dan Ayoub. I'm no stranger to D&D, both professionally and personally. I previously worked with Wizards of the Coast on their digital products and have become the head of Dungeons & Dragons franchise, whatever the fuck that means. I've also been playing D&D since I was 12 years old when the basic set got me hooked. I know firsthand the power of D&D to ignite your imagination. Ooh, that sounds familiar. And foster friendships. I've been playing with the same group as when I started all those years ago. Really? I'm lucky enough that the game I love has shaped not only my friendship, but my entire career. Every morning, I still have to pinch myself because I get to help guide the future of the game I've loved since first roll. I'm here to open a dialogue with you, the players, Dungeon Master, live stream watchers, and storytellers. You fill the tavern with laughter, launch spells across the multiverse, and roll death saving throws with ancient hearts. Dungeons & Dragons belongs to you, and we're putting it back where it belongs, at your table, as long as we completely control everything that you've done through D&D Beyond and the SRD and everything else. Okay, no one's joining me. Step 1, a system that belongs to you. Step 2, a stronger SRD, step by step. Step 3, run your D&D Beyond content on maps. No subscription required. Step 4, from community for community. And now, Here's some AI art. Boop, 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 AI art. We're never going to use AI art. Oh, yeah, wait, we are going to use AI art. Oh, wait, we're not using AI art. It's up to you to decide whether this is or isn't AI art. A system that belongs to you. The new core rule books were shaped by 10 years of community play, feedback, and love for 5th edition. No, they weren't. The upgrades doesn't replace the previous rules. Yes, they do. It enhances them. It makes this beloved system more player-friendly. No, it doesn't. Better to create content for and evolve rather than replace the 5th edition books you already own. Except, of course, they do replace the 5th edition's books that you already own from 2014 because they are a new edition. Jeremy Crawford said so. A stronger SRD step by step, along with the content provided in the new core rulebooks, referring to the 2024 rulebooks. We're updating the system reference document again on a rolling basis. We will check that in a moment since they provided us with a link. Hello, who's ever watching? Run your D&D content on maps. No subscriptions required. We just went over this. Starting September 16th, in time with the release of Heroes of the Borderlands, all D&D registered users can run games on Maps Virtual Tabletop. No subscription required. Really? Let's see. Ba-doop. Sign in to get started. Ba-doop. Do I still have one? I think I do. Am I? I don't know. Start your free trial. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's free, but I got to pay. Oh, but it's down to $3 a month. Wow. From $30 a month to $3 a month. I'm sure that'll change. Okay, so yeah, I'm on it, and apparently I can use it. So we'll see. The core experience will be made available to everyone. If you own a maps, module, or adventure on D&D Beyond, Wait, I'm sorry, what? What was that? I'm sorry. What if I own, you mean rent, a module or map on D&D Beyond? I can use it on the maps and invite your friends to play, period. So it's still, as of now, we went over this in the previous video. It's not as fully functional as Roll20, which is the other official D&D Beyond D&D VTT, which is also quote unquote free to use. So it's still limited to content that is only available on D&D Beyond vis-a-vis Wizards of the Coast TSR modules. So, and most likely only modules made from 2014 going forward. So while it's very likely you will see the current map of, say, Castle Ravenloft or the Forgotten Realms, you probably won't see maps like Isle of Dread or stuff that came out before 2014, or maybe not even that far back. I don't know what the timeline is anymore. I'm assuming it's still 2014 through today, and anything before 2014 doesn't count, but who knows? I would not expect to find anything. So it's still limited for now, but they claim they're changing it. We'll see. The Master Tier subscription will unlock more customability, of course, if you need it, but you'll be able to upload Horde Brew maps, custom tokens, and access exciting tools just for you if you pay for the map, the Master Tier. Okay, so there you go. Plain and simple. No lies, no beating about the bush. They just hope that nobody will read that. For free, which isn't free, you can use the basic features of the maps program. But if you really want to explore everything the maps can do, well, you still got to pay for the Master Tier subscription, which, so you get the quick start for free, or you can get the fully functioning for whatever month you have to pay a month. Really, that does not feel like you're changing anything to me, Wizards, but I'm a very tough hill for them to climb. They've really got to do a lot to convince me that they still have D&D and the D&D community's interest at heart, which I don't think they do. They've been very clear about what the plan is, so I don't really see them changing the plan. I see them offering token apologies. Oh, hey, remember, I'm sorry. But this is pretty much the exact same shit they said after 2023, even in regards to the system reference document. They promised us a new system reference document. They promised us stuff would be available. They promised us pre-5th edition product would be available and fall under the new system reference document. They promised us that we would be able to use the older stuff on D&D Beyond and on Drive-Thru and whatever. And they promised us that they would listen to us. And then proceeded to, I don't know, send a bunch of detectives over to a poor guy's house because of a shipping mistake. And then spend an entire year shitting on the legacy of D&D. So, Form the community for the community. We're laying the groundwork for a new initiative that will bring community voices directly into our room. Our goal is to create a rotating advisory group. Wow, really? Like the last rotating advisory group? You remember all the people you invited up north for that advisory weekend? I mean, you didn't invite Jeannie D because she, spoke up, but you had Jeannie Darling there and you had Connie Chang there. Yeah, there's your rotating advisory group made up of creators, publishers, educators, and fans who work for us, who can help us shape future tools, policies, and content into a real ongoing way. Does that mean they're going to reach out to people like me or even more well-known YouTubers like Diversity and Dragons or DM Bloodworth or Grim Jim, or even people who are associated with the hobby, like who are still alive, who were there from day one, like say Luke Gygax, or let's say, Tim Krask? Or are they going to reach out to Margaret or anybody who actually is part of the history in the community? Or are they just going to reach out to the community as it exists today, i.e. a room full of people who look and sound like Mackenzie? We're still finalizing the structure and process, but our intuition is clear. This isn't a one-time survey or PR move. It's about building a lasting collaboration with people who make D&D what it is. More details to become. We are developing a creator spotlight program that will be highlighting third-party creators across our official channels, i.e. people who have made stuff for 5e and made it available. So probably roll for content, but I doubt you'll ever see me on there. In D&D, we understand the community is the beating heart of the game we all love, and we want it to thrive so more people can experience adventures with friends and family. We've stumbled before, i.e. all the horrible things we said about Gygax. We've learned from it. Have you? And now we're committed to a clear communication, more transparency, and consistent reports for players, creators, and publishers. This is just the beginning. This new direction of Dungeons and Dragons is already underway as of 20 hours ago. We're here to earn your trust, not ask for it. Okay. We'll cycle back to that. We're building a game that honors the past, listens to the present, and opens new doors for the future. We're investing in long-term in this game, the game that has a 5-year built-in lifespan, the community and the stories we collectively tell. That means better digital tools, more open development, and more content built alongside players. We'll see you at the table. Wow. Talk about stealing directly from troll lords. Yours truly, Hug and Kisses, Dan Ayoub, head of Dungeons & Dragons franchise. You also have a link for the D&D at GenCon 2025. Gather your party in the official D&D communities. You can now publish your own creations using the new core rules. These are old things. Those aren't new. All right, so let's go back to the SRD as it appears today. You can publish your own creations using the new core rules through us. System reference document 5.2 provides creators for the compatible with the 2024 rule set. It coexists with SRD at 5.1. No, it doesn't, because SRD contradicts 5.1 several times. And then here it is. New creator frame, right about beyond basic rules. So if you want the free rules, they're up there. So on paper, it's a nice, pretty story. It says a lot without saying much of anything. Doesn't actually apologize. doesn't actually take any credit or blame or accept any responsibility for stuff that they've done over since, 2023. Well, really since 2019. And the whole, I would say for 5e, everything went bad after 2019 with the whole Tasha Strixhaven really being the start. Really, we could say everything started going downhill from 4E, but the new philosophy, the Jeremy Crawford, philosophy of Wizards, probably around 2019, right? And then 2023, of course, just the awful year for the way they behaved. And 2024, another awful year, the anniversary, which they dedicated to pretty much setting the legacy of the hobby and setting the legacy of the people who have been playing since day one, like yours truly, on fire, while they allowed, idiots like Mackenzie and all those other people to come forward and just say, and now we're 2025. We started with, massive layoffs. People are leaving. Fuck you, fans. We're changing everything again. No, we're not, because it's Gen Con. And at Gen Con, we're announcing brand new changes. We're also, of course, reminding everybody that we said we weren't going to go to conventions anymore, but I guess we're at Gen Con, so every convention after Gen Con. And it's nice that they hid this on the communities page. I had to have somebody else tell me that this was up. So the big news, I guess, coming out of this is the only thing that actually is tangible. As of September, the maps function on D&D Beyond will be, quote unquote, free to use if you have a subscription. But if you want to take full use of the maps feature, you still got to pay for the masterclass. Now, I don't know what the total value of the masterclass would be, but I think if we compare it to Roll20, which is, I think, $20 a month to take use of everything. And that's not counting downloading modules and add-ons and DLC. That's just the basic paid service for Roll20. I think it's $20 a month. I know it's not that much because I was looking into it for running online, if I ever do that. Professionally or semi-professionally, as opposed to the haphazard way I do it now. So that's the only thing that we can take out of this that is really tangible. And the SRD might change again. The SRD is in constant change. It changes every time they add a new race or a new class or a new spell in a follow-up module. They eventually have to make that fall under the SRD. The promises to make it multilingual and available for Braille still haven't happened. The promises to make the SRD apply to older editions and older product still hasn't happened. These are all things that Kyle Brink said was going to happen. Listening to the community. Those are all promises that were made to us after 2023 disaster. In fact, they even, I reminded you that we had that whole thing up north where they invited the community, but didn't invite Jeannie D to come up to the thing. And then we watched the trailer for Sigil. Oh yeah. Remember what happened to Sigil? And we had that, open source, that open neighborhood where people were allowed to truly express what they felt about the community of Dungeons and Dragons, which of course was basically just a chance for people like Connie Chang to say how horrible D&D was. And then of course we had the whole, history of Dungeons and Dragons is told through the eyes of somebody who never actually spoke to anybody associated with the history, and all the horrible history of the horrible things that happened to anybody who played D&D before we Wizards of the Coast saved the industry in 2014. So, and this is just the beginning, guys. We're going to honor the past. Really? Like you have so far? Are you now going to say, hey, remember all those horrible things we said about older players? Remember all those horrible things we said about Gygax? Remember all those horrible things we said about people like the OG GM, DM Bloodworth, Tim Krask, people who, have been part of the hobby since day one? Yeah, we didn't mean it. We're sorry. We're sorry we said all those bad things, okay? You just needed to admit that we're the best game ever, and you completely forgive us for every horrible thing we've done, and then we'll let you stream with us as long as you pay for it. But don't worry, because we're going to have a revolving community of people who are going to have the power to tell us what they want the franchise to do for the next 5 years. Now, do I think they're going to reach out to people like me? No, probably not. I seriously doubt any member of the OSR, finger quotes, will be invited to take part in this open dialogue. But I bet you Bob Worldbuilder, Genie D, maybe even Professor DM, anybody who has made 5e content and wants to stay on their good graces so they can still continue to use 5e content, will probably be invited. And the people who are more willing to toe the company line will probably be invited. But I seriously doubt any of the people who they've dedicated, the last several years telling you, oh, those people are shit. The OGGM, he's shit, Anybody who played before 2014, well, girls, you weren't allowed to play. We know people of color weren't allowed to play. People of multiple, sexual identities weren't allowed to play. People of other religions weren't allowed to play. It was only a bunch of white guys. Nobody else. But after 2014, of course, when Wizards of the Coast saved D&D, everybody was allowed to play. And one of those everybody's came forward and said, hi, I invented the deck of many things. And my character is the first canonical autistic player character in the history of the hobby, because I'm the first autistic person that was allowed to play. Blink, 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 blink. I'm not a manic pixie dream girl, even though I present as a manic pixie dream girl. Virtual signaling about Braille is one thing. Spending money to do it is another. I was hoping more people would reach out. We could have an open conversation, but I guess nobody wants to listen to this. It is kind of early. 5 people just jumped on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 9:21 in the morning here at Pacific Coast time at Site B. We're going over this weird letter that dropped from new scapegoat Dan Ayoub. Oh, poor Dan. I don't know anything about Dan. I mean, he could be a wonderful human being who loves his mother and has great with the kids and, whatever. I don't know. He could truly mean everything he says about D&D, but his fate is the same fate as Kyle Brink's. They're stepping him forward, putting him in charge of this D&D franchise department and saying, you go be the mouthpiece. And that way, when people turn on us, we can blame you. A lot. We could move on to. If anyone wants to jump in, I can invite you, or we can just wrap this up. It has been 23 minutes already. Revisionism is a fixture of the leftist woke ideology. It's the Soviet encyclopedia. I don't know if communism is woke. At least not Soviet communism. Maybe other forms of communism is woke, but I'm pretty sure it's not. But I mean, as a leftist, it's weird when I have this conversation with people like Dice Tales, how much of that I agree with, and I am a commie Democrat leftist who lives in California. I mean, you can't get more leftist than that. But yeah, it's basically erasing the history without acknowledging the history and saying, hey, come back. We're going to change. It wasn't you. It was, it sounds like the guy, a bad relationship. Our relationship with Dungeons and Dragons is a dysfunctional relationship. And here's the abusive partner saying to the victim, I've changed. Really? I mean, that's what it is, right? Unless I'm a total idiot, which I am, according to Carrion Eater. Because there's no actual news here. It's basically just hey, I'm sorry, sweetie. I've changed. And I want you to know that I'm going to get all the help I was about to slice over to that at the 25 minutes. So thanks for bringing it up, F2P Coder. So they took too much losses. Now, this could be the other reason why they're doing this. We talked about this yesterday. If you didn't see the link, because the Q3 numbers dropped. The Q3 numbers dropped a week ago, and weirdly, Hasbro didn't acknowledge them. And I didn't read my monthly newsletter as a shareholder, so I didn't even know they dropped until a second ago. Well, yesterday. So yeah. Now I tried to explain this yesterday, but it doesn't make sense because I'm an idiot and I don't really get the math. But vis-a-vis the Q2 reporting, Hasbro had a $1.6 billion loss. And yet they're successful. Wall Street still says they had a good quarter. I'm not sure how you have a $1.6 billion loss, and that's good. But as somebody else said, basically that's saying, remember OGGM when you played softball and you never got a hit. And then that one time you got a hit, everybody's looked and went, wow, look how great the OGGM is playing softball because he had one good game. So somehow, despite the fact that they posted a $1.6 billion loss, they were able to leverage it against this billion-dollar, basically golden rainbow they gave themselves, golden parachute, to justify the fact that we have to, the numbers are fluid because of the tariffs, because of the shipping, because of the diamond thing. Wizards of the Coast is one of the many victims of the diamond thing. And Wizards of the Coast is owed $9 million from Diamond. And Diamond has Wizards of the Coast products sitting on the shelf that they're trying to make part of that weird consignment thing where they get to sell the stuff to pay off the bankruptcy, but those people don't see any money. And that sucks for small-time publishers like Stephen Glick. And it even sucks for big-time publishers like Wizards because that's $9 million Diamond owes Wizards. So I'm sure this is part of that. This is them going, hey, we lost $1.6 billion, and we need people to come in and come back. Oh, yeah. I think politically you and I don't agree, but I'm sure we could game together very happily. We could sit around and drink beers or watch a baseball game. Go Cubs. Actually, I have a new favorite team. It's the Savannah Bananas. They're the minor league team. They dress all in yellow. They're my new favorite team. But I still love my Cubs. Dodgers, too, because I'm from LA. I was watching the Yankees play the other day because when there's nothing else on TV, I watch baseball. Not that you care, but all right. So is there anything I need to go over again? Anybody want to jump on and talk about this? Please let me know. Otherwise, I'll let you guys go because it's Thursday and it's 9:30 and you probably have more things to do than me. All right, so new scapegoat, Dan Ayoub. Again, Dan, we're really, really sorry for everything that's about to happen to you. Go Blue Jays. I'll have to watch them play. I'm trying to expand my roster of teams that I watch because some days that's the only thing on TV worth watching. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Again, the system. The core rule books were staged 10 years ago. The previous rules, the new rules do not replace the previous rules. Yes. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They do replace the rules. It is a new edition. Stop it. It is not backwards compatible. Ah, damn Yankees. Do I think they're playing decent this year? I don't know who's ahead. I have to check. I doubt my Cubs will be making it to the series. But I've been, like I said, Savannah Bananas are my new team. Stronger SRD, step by step. Hasn't changed since it was released last year. All the things that we were promised to see on the SRD still aren't there. The backwards acknowledgement of anything that happened before 2014, still not there. The multiple languages, still not there. It is still written under the same quasi-draconian wording that it was always written under and has been written under. And it's still, the only thing that really changed is the copyright stuff, because SRD 5, they released under the wrong one, if you remember that. So 5.2 gets rid of that. But basically, it's the same thing. You can make stuff. It has to follow this layout. Anything that you post becomes ours, whether we either actually use it or not. And even if we use it a year from now, we don't have to tell you. We don't have to pay you. And the second it goes live on D&D Beyond, we can change it at any point in time and not tell you. The D&D Maps thing is now going to be free to use. Free to use. Actually, Old Game Hermit, it was your video that I watched that was allowed me to go and find this. Notice that they weren't very public about the fact that they announced this 20 hours ago at Gen Con, a convention they said they weren't going to be at. So, hey, you can also check out Old Game Hermit because he did the video first. He beat me to it. Thank you, Old Game Hermit. Shout out to him. And I watched his video on it, and I decided to add my own 2 steps because we know I've been following this story for a while. So the only actual news is the maps, and it's not free to use. It's free if you already have a D&D Beyond account. And then that's only the basic quick start version of maps. If you want to get the fully functioning version of maps, you still have to go to the higher tier every month. So you're still renting D&D maps as opposed to D&D Beyond, which I don't know how much it costs right now. I'm going to say $20 to not counting DLCs and stuff like that. And I don't know how much you'd have to pay to DLC whatever adventure you're running on D&D Beyond. Sure, the map is free, but do I have to pay if I want to run Strahd or whatever? And then this announcement about the open community. What does that even mean? Is the open community going to be made of employees, or you're really going to reach out to the actual community? And does the actual community count people like any of us? Or is it just going to be an actual community made up of people who are either employed by you or are shills for you? I have a strong feeling we're going to see Bob Worldbuilder appear on that community before you see, say, DM Bloodworth or me show up on that community. But you never know. I mean, they did it before, remember? But yeah, hey, I played Pathfinder first. I haven't played Pathfinder second. I loved Pathfinder first for a while. Then there was just too many splat books and it got way too confusing. But for the first 3 years, it was great. It was everything D&D could have been, until I discovered Castles and Crusades. If new rules don't replace old rules, what's the point of new rules? What was the place of new 5.5 and stuff like that? Control, right? I mean, control. Ooh, somebody didn't like my game. Well, hey, at least you reviewed it and I appreciate it. Right? They changed the looks of everything. They changed the lore of everything. They changed anything that referenced the previous editions. So that going forward, everything they present is 100% theirs. And the dragon thing was a perfect example of the changes, the new rules. Dragons before referenced dragons from mythology and pop culture and media, right? You looked at the D&D Red Dragon, Smog. They changed it, and then they made that whole bullshit about, well, we didn't have any lore for the dragons before today, but now they do. So going forward, when you see a red dragon on a D&D product, it is 100% their D&D product, and nobody can say otherwise. They can't say, no, you stole that dragon from Chinese mythology. Wizards of the Coast can now say, nope, it's ours. 100% ours. And this is just the beginning. We're going to keep changing. Now, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? I've spent 34 minutes going over this. I think it's time to let you guys go. This sounds familiar. Why does it sound familiar? Because it's pretty much the exact same thing they said after the 2023 OGL scandal. Poor Kyle Brink. who was already doomed, but then he made his stupid comment about white people can't leave the hobby fast enough, and that pretty much doomed him completely, was made the scapegoat and made the announcement of all the changes and the apologies and everything we could expect going forward. And then Wizards of the Coast did the most magnanimous, I use magnanimous in a sentence, open community supporting movement they could, sending Pinkerton detectives over to a poor guy's house to terrorize his family. Yeah, nothing says community like that. And let's not even forget all the horrible things they said and did during 2024 and so far leading up till yesterday and earlier this week when they posted a $1.6 billion loss. But don't worry, because Monopoly Go is posted a 40% profit. Magic the Gathering posted a 16% profit, and Dungeons and Dragons posted a 20% profit, despite the fact D&D sales are down 28%. And you would say, well, look, but they showed a profit. And it's like, well, yes, the D&D brand is up 20%, but D&D, the physical game, is down 28%, guys. So, yeah, that is, again, of course, the whole plan with merchandising and monetizing D&D. They don't want the game to be the end-all, be-all. They want us to associate D&D with the brand. They want D&D the breakfast cereal. They don't want D&D the new adventure. D&D the flamethrower. The kids love it. All right. So this story is available. I'll post the link down below so if you want to read it. And I have a feeling we're going to have more coming out of this before Gen Con is over. It's only Thursday, so they have all day tomorrow, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday to say and do something awful. Yeah. What's the song? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, something, we don't get fooled again. You are going to have to jump through a lot of hoops, Wizards of the Coast, to get people back. You've lost a huge chunk of your current player base to Daggerheart and Brandon Sanderson's game, and SHADOWDARK and Castles and Crusades. You've lost a huge chunk of your 2014 to 2025 fan base, again, for the same reasons, and again, because the continuous stupidity. And you've pretty much lost in your entire OSR audience. You know, anybody who was playing the game before 2014, like me, you know, you've lost that audience. You're bleeding money. The only thing that's showing a profit are things that don't require any work. Magic the Gathering's up 16%. Yeah, Magic the Gathering doesn't require any work. The Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy Secret Lairs crossover made some $1 million, which is more money in one day than D&D made all year. Because, well, Magic the Gathering, Monopoly Go, D&D branding is all profit and requires no investment on your part financially. Magic the Gathering could print itself, literally, at this point in time. If anything's going to be done by the AI, it's going to be Magic the Gathering. I don't need to pay some guy to come up with the next set. Literally, the AI could vomit out 1,000 new cards that look different enough that we could charge people for it. So, yeah, $1.6 billion loss, but yet still somehow 28% loss for physical D&D product, but D&D is up 20%. So in the eyes of Wall Street, this is good. And in the eyes of Gen Con, then coming forward and going, we're sorry. I know we've been an abusive boyfriend going up to now, but just give us another chance, OGGM. We'll be better this time because
Mischief in the classroom, potions gone astray. Flying through the quad, now brighter every day. Laughter we cry hard, sneaking out at night. Cloaks in the moonlight, everything feels right.